Hey, welcome to Smokertalk, Boxing the Podcast. I'm your host, George Zays, along with my partner, Dave Steve. Tonight, we got a special guest tonight, Dave.
Oh, man. Big guest. Big guest. Huge in boxing. One of the hugest guys.
Absolutely. I'm happy to bring him in. But before we do, let's just tell you a little bit about his background. He's trained some world-class boxers. You would know some of them. Dave, you want to give him some info on that? Or
yeah, he's a world champion trainer. He's trained Saddam Ali.
Yep.
He's trained Danny Jacobs. He's trained Danny Jacobs. He's trained Sergey Derenchenko. You know, you're talking about a lot of people in that middleweight range, and he also is the founder and maker of Havoc Clothing, which is an unbelievable clothing line.
We'll talk about that as well. Why don't we bring him in? Bring him in.
Bring in Andre Rozier.
Bring Andre Rozier.
What's going on, my brethren? How's everybody doing?
Good. What kind of crazy angle do you got there, Trey?
I know, Dave. I'm on my phone. I'm trying to get it right. This is the first time I'm doing this, so I'm trying to work it the right way.
Oh man, I like it.
Welcome to Smokertalk, the podcast, man. We're excited that you're here. First of all, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us. I know you're running a lot of the professional boxers and also doing the Havoc Clothing here. So thanks for coming on tonight with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Listen, I've known Dave for a very long time. All he needs to do is make a call and I'm coming. Now, listen, he's a retired lieutenant, so he has the firearm, but I have some fists. If he ever has a problem, I'm there for him.
Okay.
Thank you. And I just want to thank you, Trey, because this is the first time in my life that I realized that can spelled backwards is snack.
There you go. That is true.
All right, so why don't we jump into this? First of all, let me ask you a question, Ajay. Is there anything off guard that we cannot ask you tonight on the broadcast?
No, there's nothing that can't be spoken about tonight.
Okay, so because Dave wants to bring in the smoke, we'll call Smokertalk Boxing. He's saying he wants to bring some really, some hot topics. So we're just gonna jump right into it. First of all, you trained some of the elite fighters. One of the elite ones that that we're gonna mention here. I'll tell you why, because I'm Puerto Rican, right? So we got Miguel Cotto, and you trained Saddam Ali that beat Miguel, and Miguel retired as a result of that. Tell us a little bit about what was that like in training Saddam, and how long you've known him? How long you've been in training with Saddam?
Well, Saddam and I have been in each other's lives since he was 10 years old. And I've watched him progress, become a Golden Gloves champion, become an Olympian, and then become a world champion. And I have a special affinity for Saddam. I call him my nephew, as most of the fighters who work with me like to be affectionately called my nephews. And Saddam is really special. He's done everything that I've ever asked the fighters to do. He became a Golden Glove champion, an Olympian, and a world champion. And he did it in a very spectacular way. Quite frankly, when that fight was announced to me, Saddam's father, David, said, "We're going to fight Miguel Cotto." I said, "Oh, no, we're not." I said, "No way, no how." And he said, "Yeah, we are." I said, "No, we're not. We went through this for about a week." And then I asked Saddam, I said, "Saddam, you really want to fight Miguel Cotto?" He says, "Yeah, Uncle, I'm going to beat him." I said, "All right, we're going to have to work harder than we ever had because this is going to be big." And he did it.
Wow.
He sure did. Because we retired after, and he really put a whipping on Miguel during that time.
It's funny that at that time he was he was in between. We had lost to Jesse Vargas, and that was a fight that I just knew Saddam was going to win, and unfortunately he didn't. His mind wasn't on boxing at that point in time, and when it came to the Miguel Cotto fight, I saw the fire in his eyes. I saw the intensity in his spirit, and I knew that he was going to take care of business.
So as a result of that, would you say he's a different boxer today because of that fight?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, Saddam is a kid that wants for nothing. I mean, he's very comfortable lifestyle-wise, economically. The family is quite well off. So Saddam really never even had to box, to tell you the truth. Heck, his father owns half of Bed-Stuy.
And a big question with that is Saddam going to ever box again? Is he going to box?
Well, you know what, Dave? I don't know. He says he wants to come back, but even if he doesn't, it's all right. I don't want him to do anything that he doesn't want to do. He's done everything I've asked him to do as a coach, as an uncle, and I'm really proud of him. And if his mind, body, and soul are not entwined to participate in the ring again, I don't want to see him get hurt. And he's always going to be my nephew, so I really don't care if he doesn't.
Awesome. So speaking of that, he's also a gym owner. George, you heard about this gym, right? In Brooklyn, George?
No.
There's a secret gym that nobody knows about. It's under a bodega, it's on like a Halsey Street. Rappers are shooting it out and having turf wars, but underneath this hole wall in Brooklyn, you have to go back. You gotta go by pizza eating hipsters. There's a gym with some of the greatest fighters in the world train at, and Dre is a part of that.
That's awesome.
Well, let me tell you this. Let me tell you the story about the gym, fellas. We had a gym at Bay Ridge, and it was we had a duplex. We had an upstairs and a downstairs, but the gym was downstairs, and we had like a boxing equipment store upstairs. If Dave was renting a spot, and I was like, Dave, why are we renting a spot when we have property all over the place?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess at that point in time, he said, you know what, I'm going to build a gym in the neighborhood. And he literally dug out the basement in one of his properties and built us a gym. And our gym is small, but it's eclectic. It's something like you've never seen before in a gym. He actually did the artwork, the stonework on the walls. That's like really, really fantastic. He did a number on it. And that little gym, and because it is a little gym, has put together some of the best talent in the world, literally.
Well, that's amazing. All right, let me give a couple of shout outs to people that are tuning in. We got Ralik, the young vegan. He's on. Ray Campbell is on. And Sam Clare. We want to give you shout outs. Thank you for joining us here on the Smokertalk podcast. All right, Dave, you want to jump in and
Yeah, all right. So let me preface this for the boxing fans out there. You got somebody like, all right. So Richardson Hitchens works out in your gym, right?
Right.
Okay. So Richardson Hitchens, from elementary school years, worked out in with the gym with Sosa, right? With Sosa's
right. Right. Kids.
Right. And so somebody who's in your gym lures him away. And he goes into. You're not a part of it, but I'm just saying you know about it. Now he's training with another trainer, right?
Right.
So I want to know what you feel about that as a coach, because you're going through a similar situation in that Danny Jacobs has been with you since how old? How long have you been with Danny Jacobs?
Oh, since Danny was 13 years old.
13 years old. Wow.
Right.
Now he's a world champion. Now it's time for pretty much it's standard in the industry for a fighter to give 10% of his purse to the trainers. And the trainers, a lot of times, these trainers, if they've been there from childhood, they put that work in for not just that fight, but for 20 years in advance, 10 years in advance. What talk to us from a coach's perspective about the fighters and the fighters league.
Well, basically, the situation with Danny and me, it is like it's the worst situation that could be. You get to the top of the mountain, you've been together for over 17 years. And when the time comes for the gravy train to arrive, you choose to step away. It's almost like a setup. I'm waiting for that moment. Now I'm going to step aside because I know I have to do the right thing at this point in time, and I'm just not going to. It's different when you have a young man that you're working with, and they say you have people that were working together, and they haven't reached the goals. They haven't reached the levels that Danny Jacobs had reached. He became a world champion 2 times over. And I mean, these other, the other situation with Richard is that he is new to professional boxing with just about 11 fights. He hasn't achieved those levels at this point in time, and you can't tell if he will. So the dynamics are entirely different. That's like anybody who's been around through the ups and downs, through every issue that was covered in somebody's life. And then at one moment, when the time comes for everybody to be happy, you make a move. So it's really a lot different than someone being in the gym, even if they were there for a while, and then they just might step off.
Gotcha.
Now, let me ask you a question, Andre. Did you have a written contract with Danny Jacobs? Because that's been all over the place. And could that have been something that why he stepped off like that?
Well, no, actually, I hadn't had a written contract with any of my guys. But the thing that really bothered me was that the trust factor, the loyalty factor should have not made it a reason to have it. But now you have to be on a different level because you see how the game is played. Literally, you can't think the family forum all the time. You have to think, listen, this is business. And you have to attest to it in that form and fashion. This is business.
Okay. I'm gonna just we got Dre frozen on the screen a little bit. We can
hear him, and it's a picture of him, so it's okay. We're just gonna continue.
Great. So Dre, standard practice in the industry is 10% of the purse.
Right. Standard is 10, but a lot of these fighters, they don't go by that. They go by whatever they want to actually do or feel at a certain point in time. So this is why you're going to have to start making mandates when you go into an agreement with an athlete that it's going to be this, so we don't have any complications. And it's still going to be difficult at that point in time because it's so easy for a fighter to say, well, I didn't like the way he worked with me, so I'm not doing anything. I'm not giving him anything.
All right.
So you have to.
So I just want people to know the not the exact numbers, but Danny Jacobs got what, like $6 million to fight Canelo?
No, he got nearly 15 million.
Wow.
Oh, jeepers. Wow. All right. So 10% of that would be $1.5 million. We're not saying that he should give you $1.5 million, but he worked with him since he was 15. I mean, you and God rest his soul, Vic Roundtree was a tremendous trainer out of Starrett City. Worked with him a lot.
Right. Exactly.
But Vic died. Vic is gone. So now you work with him since he's there. And you worked with him in a previous championship fight, right?
Yes, I did.
Where he beat the French guy. I forgot his name. The French guy.
The French guy.
Yeah, the black guy from France. Or maybe he's African, but he's from France. He fights out of France. He's got a French
Oh
name.
no! Danny didn't fight him. Yeah, no, he didn't fight. Danny didn't fight Nadam.
Where did he win his first championship? Who did he beat?
He fought when he won his first. He won the WBA regular title, and that was a English kid actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So he wins that. Did you get 10% of that purse?
No. Our agreement from the very beginning was 5%. 5% for me, 5% for Vic.
Okay, gotcha.
So when Vic passed away, it just stayed at 5%.
All right. So did you get 5% of that championship purse?
I got 5% of everything until the Canelo fight.
Okay, gotcha.
But you know, if you really think about it, over a period of like since he was 13, I think you said, right? Since 13, you're putting in lots of hours, lots of time, lots of knowledge. You know, it's literally blood, sweat, and tears into somebody. 5%. I mean, the least that you can get is at least 5%. I mean, there should be no question when he gets a fight like that. It should never be an argument. I mean, it should be just something right off the top. And you know, I think that would be fair. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you 100%. But for all intents and purposes, he chose this time to say no, and it came as a surprise to me, which was even more, disturbing that you would do that at that moment and at that time.
What do you think caused them to say no? What do you think? Was there an outside source, somebody, that might have said something that, changed his mind?
No, I think that was just Danny. He did it to everybody that was involved. So that was him.
Wow. That's that.
So, for all those, and listen, don't get me wrong. I love the kid. I just don't like him anymore. I just don't like him anymore. He did what we would call one of those streetwise hustle moves, and just took off and everything else. He wants to claim it's this, that, the other thing, but I'll be the first one to say, because I'm a realist about it, you didn't give 100% to be ready for the fight, and then you want to penalize everybody for it. If you didn't prepare like you were supposed to, then you have to blame yourself. And Lord knows I don't play when it comes to boxing. I make sure my guys are ready to fight, they dig in, and they work hard.
Well, I want to ask you a question, because his last fight was Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and he looked like he was losing the fight the whole time, and Chavez quit. Do you think that him being not in, you not being in his corner has something to do with that, or it's just Danny just being Danny?
No, that was just Danny being Danny. He starts off a little bit slow, and I know he had some concerns, because he's always got that concern, like, okay, I got to get up, I got to get going, I got to get up, I got to get going. And it's a good thing that I didn't watch the fight, so I can't really speak wholeheartedly on it. But it's a good thing.
Wow.
No, I didn't. There was no need for me to watch it.
Okay, so you're not even in the least, a little curious to see what he's doing, or you just cut him off and that's it, it's over?
No, listen, I'm a cut and dry guy.
Got it.
I'm cut and dry. I give you everything, and I mean everything, and then I get treated in a certain way. It's like a bad relationship, especially if I haven't done anything.
Well, you've been with him since he was 13. I mean, that's crazy. So yeah, I don't blame you for having that attitude right now.
No, when you get belittled in that form and fashion, and it'd be different if it was just we've been together. Forget the fact of who I am. We've been together that long. You don't treat somebody that way. You don't do it. And he chose to. And there were times, like I said, that Sergey Derevenchenko fought while we were in training camp, and he was saying, "Oh, you can't go to help Sergey in his fight," which would have been like one day because I'm training. But you never gave the 150% to be ready for this Canelo fight. So, and it's a good thing that Sergey is the loyalist that he is, because that he came to the gym and he said, "Andre, I want you to come be a part of our team. Don't step aside." And I told him then I would never leave him again.
That's amazing. Now, are you currently in court with Danny Jacobs over this?
No.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So you're not even taking a legal action on this, because this is very public right now. So you're not even going to go to pursue what's owed to you. I mean, it's essentially owed to you. You've been with him since he was a teenager, you know?
And I like exactly what you're saying. I think you're going to come to court with me if I decide to go.
Well, you've been slighted, man. You've been slighted. I mean, you've given your life to this young man till he became a world champion, held titles 2 times, and now you just get the short end of the stick. It's just not, it doesn't seem right, especially for the sport. I think it kills the sport, and I think it'll kill for any trainer that's going to work with Danny Jacobs moving forward.
But I'll tell you
legally too. Let me say something legally with that. If there's a precedent that in the past you've trained him for a fight and you've gotten 5%, then you've set a precedent. That's an agreement. That's a valid agreement. Even without a written contract, the court will recognize that you have a contract. This is what you've done. This is what you've always done. Why would you need to actually write it down when this is something that's done? That's like if you're in my house because I rented to you and you pay me, you do not have to have a written contract. You don't have to have a written contract. Just the fact that you stayed there and you pay me rent, that's the contract. I have to go to court.
Right. Listen, I agree with you 100%, Dave, and I'm going to take you to court too when I decide to do it. I love it, and I love the way you presented it. You made me believe it.
That's legal. That's legal English right there. That is. You know, there's
I like
it. Yeah,
I like it. Yeah, well, I don't know, but you know, I've left it alone because I've also had so many fantastic athletes come in. You know, we started Havoc Advisory and Management. We have Havoc Media. The avenues are growing. You know, I have a fantastic team. I have one of the most precocious young men running around on the planet, and Chris Glover. His writing capabilities are stellar, and I'm looking to just keep him growing in that form and fashion. And the team is fantastically strong. We have, of course, Sergey Derevyanchenko. We have Duke Mackay, or Micah, if you want to, whichever way. I say it the way I want to say. I'm the uncle. And we have Richard Comey. We have Edgar Belunga. We have Chris Algieri. We have, give me some more names. We have Marvin Cordova. We have Fergal McCrory. We have Giovanni Sudieri. We have Alex Vargas. I said him already. And Pablo Valdez. I mean, it's a crazy roster of guys. It's insane. And oh, let me not forget, even though he didn't come to the gym today, the gym is outside right now. We train in the park. Big Joe Mac Williams out of Far Rockaway, one of the baddest super middleweights on the planet.
Super middleweight. What is he weighing now? I seen that guy get pretty heavy.
Yeah, yo, he does. He has. But you know what? It's a different story when you come to the House of Pain and Uncle Dre's got that black Jesus ready to tear your ass up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! All right. So let's get into another question, because I want to make sure that we answer. Some people here are definitely on your side and they're saying what's right is right. You know, set your legal team. I mean, we love Danny Jacobs, but we just don't agree with what he did. I think it's not good for the sport. You know, so it is what it is. So let's just get right into this. Dave, you wanted to ask another question, Dave, regarding this whole
Jacobs fights Derevyanchenko, right?
Yeah.
How did that fight come out, and whose corner did you work? What was the whole story with that?
Well, basically what happened there was I didn't want them to fight each other. I was doing everything in my power to see what direction they could go in, and there were some opportunities. It was more Danny that wanted to fight Sergey than Sergey actually fighting Danny. But it was a fantastic opportunity. It was a money opportunity. It's a world title on the line, an actual world title, not a secondary title. So it meant a lot. But I didn't want them to fight each other. Of course not. But I went with Danny. And on hindsight, I should have went with Sergey. But the thing is, I did, and Danny pulled out a close split decision.
A girl.
Now, with those guys, before that fight was announced, they're in your stable. Don't they spar each other?
Oh yeah, they sparred each other on numerous occasions.
Right. And now here you are as a trainer, and this crazy information comes in that they're gonna fight each other.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it coming, but I was trying to divert it, and I just couldn't. It was what it was, and it's funny, you know, when we were in camp, Danny would say little snide things like, "Oh, you know, you better show me how to beat Sergey," and this, that, and the other thing, and I don't know if you showing me how to beat Sergey. I just crazy off the wall things.
So there was some kind of distrust there going on.
You know, I don't think it was distrust. I think it was more just a jealousy thing.
Okay. So you got the new hot and shot, up and coming, you know, person, and now he's feeling like maybe a little slighted. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's what I call the prima donna syndrome. That's why in my gym the statement is, "This is the house of pain. We work hard here. No prima donnas allowed."
Whoa! Wow! Wow!
No.
All right. Go ahead, George. Go ahead, George.
No, I want to know, Andre, what makes you such a great trainer? Because everybody, you know, they want to work with you, and you have all this stable of all these guys. What makes you such a great trainer? Was it that you were, you know, a tremendous, you know, you had a pretty decent amateur career in boxing? Is that something you picked up, and then you saw that moving forward as a trainer? Did that help?
Well, you know what it was is it's just my sheer love of boxing. I love boxing. I mean, I really love it. But also the discipline of it. You can't play with boxing. It's not a game. You have to give your whole life and soul to boxing as long as you're doing it. And I hate to lose. And when it comes to preparing, we prepare to win. We don't work to lose. We prepare to win.
So you have the mentality, kind of like the Yankees. When you go into the Yankee dugout in baseball, it's been quoted that the players go in there. They say when you walk in there, there's like an aura that you're expected to win, and that's the kind of same precedence and mindset you want to set in the gym. Is that what you're telling me?
Without a doubt, the entire atmosphere in the gym is of winners. You know, we have winners in the gym. We work hard. We press for endurance and technical sound accuracy in boxing, and we go over it and 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 over and over again.
Okay, and there's a question coming in from the New York City Cops and Kids, and big shout out to them for tuning in. The question is, please ask the Dre if he believes that we should institute a new policy at NYC Cops and Kids, and that all pro boxers need to sign at least a 2-year contract with our coaches. Is that something that's even feasible?
Well, I mean, that would be nice, but I don't know if it would stick like that, because once again, a fighter could say, "Oh, I wasn't happy with this. My trainer didn't do that," and then it brings in a very gray area. So, I mean, I would like to see that happen, because sometimes you just want something to say that I'm protected.
Yeah, absolutely. There has to be some kind of protection for the coaches. So I got to agree with that.
Well, also some of the coaches might be afraid, because they might say, "Oh, my fighter will leave me." You know, I don't know if that's the case, but I'm just throwing that out there.
Right. That's the other side of it, because it's a rough call. It's really a rough call, because you want to trust your kids, And quite honestly, this might come across as a real slap in the face, but a lot of the foreign fighters just seem to be a whole lot better at being loyal than the guys here.
Mm.
Yeah, and Trey, where have you gotten these foreign fighters from? Because you got these guys that came out of Europe, and here they're looking, they're not looking for another Sergey or another Dimitri. They're looking for Dre. They're looking for Uncle Dre.
Yeah, but don't reveal your secret sauce if there's a secret sauce behind it. You know what I'm saying?
No, there's no secret sauce. It's just that every once in a while you're in the right place at the right time and things happen, and then the manifest grows. It's like, I know that this person is true to his cause, to his technique, to his game, and I could respect him. I could trust him. I know he's going to have my best interests at heart, and I got to be with him.
It could also be just your sheer, reputation as a coach, and it just gets around because boxers talk. So it could just be that. Would you agree with that statement?
Oh, definitely. That's the other side of it. That's the other side. I never toot a horn. When somebody gives me a call and they say they want to come and work, I say, come on by, let's see what you got. It might work, it might not, but the bottom line is if they give me a call, I'll give them a shot.
Okay. All right. So, all right, I want to switch gears. Can we switch gears, Dave, or you have any other?
Yeah. Just one thing. Alex Vargas.
Yes.
He came out of our Ringmasters tournament that George and I are helping out, and he's in your gym, and he's amazingly fast. He has a good boxing IQ. How does he stack up against these pros? He's a young pro, basically without a manager, without any promoter that I know of, and now he's with you, and he's with these great champions. How does he stack up?
Oh, listen, the whole Vargas family. I love the whole Vargas family. His father is a fantastic human being. His mother, she's a wonderful lady. They're they're a mix of Hispanic and European. And when Alex first came to me, I didn't know he spoke Spanish. I was just looking at him. I thought he was a little Italian kid, to tell you the truth. But his father said, "No, I'm Hispanic." You can't tell a Hispanic person they're not Hispanic. They'll get it in your case. So, but the whole dynamic of the Vargases is wonderful. Alex came in, and Alex went right to work because he has fantastic sparring, and he comes to show that he's willing to mix it up. And he's trying to learn to be just as good, if not better, than his peers. And I think Alice is going to make a lot of noise. We're moving him correctly, a little bit slower because we don't have him lined up with a promoter as of yet. But we're working on those things now. And he's going to be very special. He works so hard, and he's just a genuinely wonderful young man.
We got to agree. He has a great image for the sport, and he's a tremendous athlete, in tremendous shape. It's a shame that COVID right now has stopped a lot of the young fighters like Alex Vargas, these young up and coming stars. What happens now once we go back into, and I won't call it normal because it's never going to be normal again. What happens to these young athletes trying to get back into the game? Let's say they release they full-fledged, we can go back out starting in July. What happens to these young guys as far as training and moving them along? What do you see for the rest of 2020 with them?
Well, we're going to have to adapt. Truly, we're going to have to adapt to a new style of everything. We're going to have to work in a different manner. Social distancing is a must. So you can't have a bunch of people in the gym at the same time until and unless a vaccine is created to stop this invisible monster. So we're going to have to make changes to our repertoires, to our training sessions, and boxing itself is going to have to make some changes. But as it comes, guys who are going to be ready are the guys that are going to box. A lot of guys are not going to be ready when things open up a bit, and when you're not ready, you won't get the chance. And things are going to be really, really different. So I'm making sure that my guys are going to be ready. So when the call comes, we're going.
Okay, awesome. All right, so Dre, let's switch gears, like George said, and let's go into Havoc. Where does a guy like you, who looks like a bodyguard or a bouncer, learn how to sew and be creative? Like, how does that even happen?
Well, this is the best story of them all, because my grandmother, my abuela, she was from Panama, and she was a singer and a seamstress from Panama, and she had a bunch of sewing machines. I never knew where she got all those sewing machines from, but she could make a wedding dress just by laying material on a table and cutting it, and then 3 days later you saw this beaded, seashelled. Oh, it was just amazing. So I didn't think much about that until I turned like 12, 13, and then came the era of what we call tailor-mades, where all the guys that had some money would go to a tailor and they'd get these elaborate vests and pants with tailored pockets and flaps, and just as crazy as you could go. That's what a tailor-made was. So I said, I want to have some stuff like that. So I said, I'm going to ask my grandmother. So I went to her. I said, Mommy, could you make me some tailor-mades? And in her Hispanic Caribbean accent, she said, what are you talking about? I said, the clothes with the flaps and the this and the that. She said, no, I can't do it, but I'll teach you how to do it. So I said, I don't want to know how to sew. I said, sewing is for girls. So she said, in the most American tone ever, then apparently you don't want tailor-mades. So I said, oh man, this is a I said, okay. I said, I'm gonna pull a trick on my grandmother. I'm gonna have her sew it and act like I'm learning, and I stand by her side. So I said, okay, Mommy, I'll learn how to sew. I'm gonna stand here and watch you sew. And she said, what? See, you think you're smart, huh? She said, now I'm not even gonna teach you. I said, wait, okay. All right, Ma, I'm gonna learn. And she gave me a sewing machine, and I started practicing, and I really just became good at it. And before 6 months' time, I was actually sewing, making clothes for people, and then my last year of high school, literally, I had enough clothing for 60 days in school.
Wow.
And we're bringing up the website right now. It's teamhavocusa.com, and we have some of the world champions. There's some guys some of the boxers that you train, like Danny Jacobs, Badu Jack, Saddam Ali, Andre Broner, Marcus Brown, and Gabriel Rosado. They're all wearing your brand of clothing.
Oh yes, well, let me just say something about that's not our site.
Oh, no.
That site.
Gosh.
Unfortunately, there was a situation that was going on, and since we're keeping it real, I'm gonna keep it real for you.
Okay.
I had a partner who had started Havoc Promotions again, and basically he trademarked the logo without my permission.
Okay.
So now I'm actually in trademark court trying to get the logo back.
Okay, so
listen, nice guys finish last.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
But it looks good for the fact that since I had to go ahead and step it up with legalities, that my lawyer says we're looking at like we're in a really good position, because it was just ridiculous. And it just seems to happen. I don't want to become callous. I don't want to be a callous person.
Sure.
I want to stay me. I want to stay Andre. I want to stay the happy-go-lucky human being that enjoys the company of his friends and everybody else. But there are people out there that test your ability to maintain this. So there, you know, you can't be nice to everybody is the bottom line, but don't change yourself for anybody.
S-
I agree.
speaking of being Dre, how many times have you finished a outfit in the dressing room of a fighter? Because you're legendary for actually doing this, right?
Oh,
Like,
listen. Dave, this is how it goes. I finish the outfit and I get it to them before they exit for the ring.
Oh my God.
oh my God,
Pressure.
that is contract. Because if you're a fighter or a trainer waiting for that outfit to come in and you're ready to fight and you're supposed to go out in this havoc gear, and Andre Rozier is in the back room sewing up, you know, like the seams of the leg. How does that make people feel? Because I've heard you've done this.
Yeah, listen, I'll tell you a secret, Dave. 9 out of 10 times when that happens, it's because I'm actually looking out for one of my guys or somebody that's in the circuit of it. You know, usually the guys that really take care of me on those things, we don't have that issue. Like a Javonta Davis and Danny Garcia, so on and so forth. Those are my guys. Those are my real dudes. A lot of the times I do a lot of sewing for the guys that are part of the crew, and they get to say that, but 9 out of 10 times, the only thing they've done is pay for some material. So
okay. So we're talking money. It's a matter of money.
No, it's not even so much a matter of money, but they know that upon doing so many things that they're gonna get it when we walk out to that ring. So I might be coming at that minute that we got to shake down, but they know they're gonna get it.
Wow.
That's crazy. All right. So now let's switch gears completely because I want to ask you about some stuff. All right. I want to go into the heavyweight division a little bit. Deontay Wilder, and I know you've been asked this probably numerous times, versus Tyson Fury. They're gonna do a part 3 now. This is the rubber match, I guess. What advice would you give Deontay Wilder, you know, if you were training for him for that rematch?
Well, the first thing I tell him, as an advisor, as if I'm speaking as Deontay's advisor, I would tell him he should pay more attention to how his trainer used to fight. He should watch some Mark Breland double jab right hand situations, because he does not jab enough at all. He drops his hands when he does it, and he makes a lot of careless mistakes. And literally, he has on his training team, one of the best fighters that have ever done gloves, and Mark Breland.
That's correct.
If he was to just double the jab, right hand down the middle, look out. He doesn't throw a hook anyway, so it doesn't matter.
All right. Then with that, as a trainer, did Mark Breland do anything wrong for stopping that fight?
No, listen. If it was me, I would have stopped the fight earlier.
That's correct.
When I saw him bleeding from his ear, I would have stopped it earlier.
Yeah, I say the 5th round.
Mark,
the whole time I was like, hey, stop this fight.
I agree 100%. I think Mark did the right thing. He should be commended for it.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how that Deontay's team went about whoever said, oh, this, that, or the other thing. I mean, I wasn't there, so I'm not privy to that. All I can tell you is that if it was me, I would have stopped the fight earlier.
Okay. So now let's talk about, first of all, let me shout out Astor Filmworks and Lefty Ojeda, because I saw him say some stuff. So how you doing, Lefty? And Eric and Frank from Astor Filmworks. Dre, so you're talking about his training camp, and you're talking about people getting big for their bridges. Deontay Wilder, he's spending like $40,000 or something on that outfit, which is too heavy, and he's blaming the fight on it. Did he get too big for his britches?
Well, I mean, first off, when he said the outfit made his legs tied, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been sewing a long time. I mean, that was totally insane. It wasn't like you were wearing the thing all day. So how could that affect you for that short period of time that you walked to the ring? And if that was the case, you shouldn't have had a uniform that was that heavy anyway. So I don't know who told him to say something of that nature, but that was not the thing to say.
All right. So he now the question is he worried more about his outfit than he is the fight? What do you think that training camp was like? Do you think it was ridiculous? Do you think that he thought he was going to knock him out and just walk away?
No, I think that he thought it was going to be similar to the first fight, and he should have made changes. Not in saying off the team, but some changes in technique and balance and working his jab. I mean, the man has long arms like an albatross. His arms are incredibly long. He's supposed to get that jab working right down the middle. That's it. When you're that big and that strong, he can live with the 1-2 and be the most dangerous person on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I got you there.
Right, I agree. That's great advice. And I know Mark Breland took a lot of heat. Like, people were saying so many things for him stopping the fight, and I mean, it was just disgusting. And I thought, if you really care about your fighter, you stop that fight. The whole outfit thing, I thought was ridiculous. So I'm glad your caliber came here and kind of clarified that for us.
Hey Trey, are you in the gymnasium right now?
I mean, no, I'm not. I'm actually over at one of the. I'm at one of my fighters' house. I'm at Chris and Duke's place. So, yeah.
All right, now I have some more questions.
I'm telling you, hey Dave,
Go ahead.
I'm on the run, Dave. I'm trying to touch everybody that I can.
All right, so here we go. Here's another one that we want to ask you. This is crazy. Now here we are. By the way, thank you for the super chat after Filmworks. We appreciate the support on the channel. We do appreciate that. That's going to go a long way. Big shout out to you guys. All right, so big question now. We're in 2020. You got Mike Tyson talking about coming back and Evander Holyfield. Can you talk and elaborate a little bit on that? Because Mike Tyson's 53 and Evander Holyfield's like 57, 58 years old. This is ludicrous. It's crazy. And even Shannon Briggs is talking about this. Is that something that they see an opportunity maybe? Because the heavyweight division right now doesn't have those big heavyweights of yesteryear.
I'm so disappointed. Listen, it started out with Mike Tyson doing exhibitions. I'm all for that. I mean, you do an exhibition, you put on some 16-ounce gloves, you put on a nice European headgear. I mean, these guys are at the advanced age where these things are very detrimental to their health. And one said it, Mike said it, and he started by saying exhibitions. All of a sudden now, every old jack in the book is coming out talking about, oh, I want to fight. I want to this. I want to that. Man, listen, they all need to go to the beach, get their little folding chairs, get an umbrella, a Mai Tai, and a couple of Coronas, and sit down and enjoy the wakes of the waves coming in on the shore.
Oh, my God, that's funny. But it's true. I like these guys. I happen to like all three of the boxers that I mentioned. I don't want to see them get hurt. I know they look great right now in training, and they look absolutely in phenomenal shape. You saw
steroids.
Yeah, you saw Mike Tyson, hitting some, the pads or whatever. But I'm just fearful for these guys. But again, my question is, do you think that's just that old, fighter, that old dog in them that sees an opportunity? Because right now you got Anthony Joshua, one of the top of the divisions. You got Tyson Fury, but Anthony Joshua, I don't know. Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, I think Tyson Fury wins all day. So is it that Mike Tyson and maybe these guys are seeing like Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz, and these guys, and they go, I can take that guy? You think that might be it?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, of course, certain fighters, and this is the worst part, and it might sound like a contradiction to what I just said, but a primed and proper Mike catching one of them guys in the first round, they'll go to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the worst part about it, but I don't want to see that happen. I mean, I'm I'm a good friend of Mike Tyson's. I love him. I love what he did as a fighter. And literally, I don't want to see him get hurt. If he wants to do exhibitions, if all of them want to do exhibitions against each other, that's fine. Put some 16-ounce gloves on, put a nice headgear on them, like Julio Cesar Chavez did in Mexico with, I forget who he did the exhibition with, but it was the funniest thing, and it was all fun. I mean, they had on really big gloves, they had on the big giant headgears, and they toyed around, but they had a packed house, and all the fans loved it. If it's going to be like that, I don't mind. But when you start talking about, oh, some serious boxing, or we want to put some 10-ounce gloves on and go in the ring, and no, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see the guys that I admire in this game get in the ring and get hurt. I don't want to see it.
That's a great point.
You think that it is that they're looking for a big payday? Because I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I were to see Mike Tyson, I could get a hold of a ticket to go see him. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go buy a Mike Tyson ticket all day long. Is because they're gonna sell out any venue in the world. Would you agree with that?
No, I agree with you on that. But what I'm saying is that we could, if we're gonna say that he's gonna do an exhibition,
right.
Let it. There should be nobody over 50 boxing.
Right.
Period. You're 50 years old. You don't box anymore. That should be a mandate, because at that point it's not safe. I don't care how gifted you are. It's not safe.
But
so if they want to do the exhibitions, that's fine by me.
But
they're protected. They have the rules and regulations, but not going in as I'm going in to fight.
So a 4-rounder exhibition, I tell you, I think they still Mike Tyson has a commanding lead to sell out any venue.
Oh, I love it. That I love. I love that. I go to every one of them.
Yeah, so would I definitely 100%. I would definitely pay to see that. Because I we have fond memories. I love Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Shannon Briggs. These guys, love them. I did it. I loved when George Foreman got back in it, but George Foreman was a lot younger.
Right.
Beast,
And George Foreman is a massive man. He's a big dude.
Yeah, he is.
He's a really big guy.
And he adapted his style when he fought the second time around.
It's crazy. Let me tell you something. I met George Foreman. We were promoting a nano toy for George Foreman by Hasbro. So I brought some kids down to help in the promotion with him. And George, when we met, I said, George, hey, how you doing? I'm Andre Rozier. It's a pleasure to meet you, champ. And he put his hand like right on the back of my head. And I kid you not, it was like my head was a basketball and he could palm it. That's a big man. It's a big man. He is a huge man. So that was different. But even like now, I wouldn't want to see George fighting at 50, 52, 50. No.
That's right. Even okay, so New York City Cops and Kids says we'll make Mike Tyson Holyfield our main event at Madison Square Garden event that was postponed the first day of the virus. And some people chime in. Ray Campbell says good idea. New York City Cops and Kids, and they're laughing. And then again, Cops and Kids are saying, Dre, call Mike now and hook it up.
Now I want you to tell the Cops and Kids, all those kids are like nephews to me. Tell them I'm coming with Black Jesus. They know what it is.
All right. So, all right, let's switch gears once again. Let me ask you about your promotional career. What does that look like, and where's that going?
Well, we don't actually promote. We have gotten into advising and management.
I'm calling it into existence.
I did promote early on, and it's a hard venture. You lose a lot of money, and let me tell you something. The person that is your co-host promotes some events that are just stellar. I mean, his boxing shows, his fireman, police shows are some of the best I've ever. And I mean, Dave does a fantastic. I came to one show at the Armory. And I said to myself, I think I was with David Ali, Saddam's father. I said, you know what, Dave should be a goddamn promoter because he got more people in this place than any fight I've seen in the last 4 years.
All right. So
And they were buying the beer.
is that something you would consider though if you had the right backing or the right partnership?
No, I've been there before. I don't want to revisit that area.
Look at Dave raising his hands. He's like, "Hey, what about me?"
No, well, listen. If David was to do it, that's a different story. Some people have that type of magic, and let me tell you something. Anybody could tell you his events are incredible. So I might have to, if anything, if I have to partner up for promotion, I'm going to Dave C. We're going to rock it just like that.
There you go. All right. So when we do that next event, we're going to invite you to come down and hang with us and even commentate ringside because that's what we do, here at Smokertalk.
Oh, I love it. You guys are doing a fantastic job also.
Thank you, man. We appreciate that. Dave, take it away.
All right, Dre. So there's a lot of things. Where do you see? I mean, this is something that really interests me. I like promotions, and you were in the promotion industry. Fights in New York City. Where do you think we're going? Because they asked for all this extra insurance. That's a big thing. I don't know if it's because of the UFC. I don't know if it's because of the Russian fighter that got into had severe brain damage and almost died in Madison Square Garden. I don't know where it is, but where do you see boxing in New York City going?
Well, I see it's going to be tough right now, Dave. Hey, listen, the promoters might call you because you could turn an outside event into something special with social distancing and everything. It's going to be hard. Now, seriously speaking, though, it's going to be hard until they get a hold of this virus. And then it's still going to be difficult because then you have to make sure that everybody is vaccinated. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to be super afraid to be a part of normal everyday living at that point. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a period of time to rebuild, and that's what we're going to have to work on. But in the immediate future, it's going to be tough.
Absolutely, I see that. And then what do you think your fighters about now? There's this whole thing. You got some fighters. First of all, Derenchenko, is he fighting again soon or what?
I'm waiting to hear what's going to go on. I don't know as of yet, but I'm looking forward to him fighting soon. I'm looking forward to him vying for a middleweight title. And I don't care if it's with an audience or not.
I don't know what that fight was called, but he beat Triple G. He waxed Triple G.
Thank you. I felt the same way, David. I felt that we won that fight. Mm-hmm. And, I was like, I'm in New York. I'm a New Yorker, born and bred. And these judges, I'm like, wait a minute. He won that fight. It'd be different. The fight with Danny and Triple G was like, you could go either way. But he really won this fight. And I thought we just got jobbed again. I'm like, damn, it don't pay.
Yeah, because I never seen Triple G get basically abused like that, especially towards the end of the fight. And what I was thinking about it is like, well, you got a Russian fighter and that Triple G style, they're used to it. They're used to that all your Eastern European style. So a Russian fighter coming against them is a completely different thing. That's completely different. So
yeah, I don't think Triple G expected to see or deal with the tenacity that Sergey can bring to you. I know he wasn't at all ready for the defensive circle. I know that for a fact. It bewildered him. He was like missing shots and trying to catch up with him. And Sergey was all around him like a Tasmanian devil. And I thought he really did enough to win. But unfortunately, once again, it was what it was.
Speaking of Russian fighters, I just got to go back. I'm going to go back a little bit. This is not to take a stab at Danny Jacobs or anything like that, but Danny Jacobs lost convincingly to a Russian fighter back in the day. I forgot his name right now.
Yeah, that was Dmitry Pirog.
Piro, right. Now that guy just walked through him, and then we never saw that guy again. I mean, what did they do? Did they kidnap him in Russia? Is that part of your Russian contract? Because that guy straight up fight. That guy could straight up
Yeah,
fight, and he just disappeared after he beat Danny Jacobs.
no, you know what happened to him, Dave? He had some back problems, and just to go to show you how bad a back problem can actually be, he couldn't bend, and he couldn't do the things that was necessary for him to be Dmitry Pirog, the fighter that he was. So he had to retire. I mean, it had to be really bad for him to retire because he was definitely on a high.
Yeah, he was so good. And I don't know if Danny. I remember Danny's grandmother had passed or something like that. I remember he was going through some personal stuff. But I mean, he went through Danny like a hot knife through butter. I mean, it was I never seen anything like that, and I was real excited to see. All right, there's a new middleweight, you know, in the mix, and then like you said, he disappeared. But you know, now Danny, with your Russian connection now, and you have these Eastern European fighters come in, did that help a lot? Because if he didn't have the sparring with Derenchenko, would he have been would that have been a problem?
Well, I'll tell you something. Sergey and Afandil Kostidis, aka Suicide, were Danny's primary sparring partners when he fought Triple G, and they really gave him. And just to show you how some people are, even when Danny was getting ready for the Canelo fight, after Sergey fought him, Sergey still said he would come and spar with him, and he did. Just a class guy. He's just the ultimate in class.
Wow, that's great.
That is great. All right, so I we've come up to the hour time. Dave, if you have any other questions or anything, we can take care of this. Or if Andre, you want to plug any of your social media, where can people follow you if they want to follow Andre Rozier?
Well, I'm on Facebook, but I'm pretty low key. I leave all of the social media to my Alabaster nephew, Chris Glover, who is handling the Havoc Instagram page, okay. And he gets the information out there. He also you can catch it at Havoc Advisory, and look out for him. He writes for all of the major social networks, Boxing Scene, the Boxing Voice, just a multitude of them. He's all over the place, and he's really been a benefit to what I'm doing, because I'm doing a lot, and you have to definitely have your soldiers, and no better soldiers to have than your little nephews. If they act up, you slap the shit out of them, but that's how it goes. They're good kids. And, yeah, you got to be tough with them, and they do wonderful things for me. So God bless them.
Absolutely. All right, another super chat. Oh my God, thank you so much, Asta Filmworks, again with another $50 super chat. Thank you so much for your generosity. That means a lot to us, man. I mean, that's just amazing. Thank you so much. I feel humbled, and Dave, I'm sure as well, for your generosity. I mean, that's extremely generous. Thank you so much. All right, so Dave, you have any last questions? Because I got a couple more, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
No, I have no more questions. I'm just happy that Dre came on the show with us. Dre is. I know Dre for years. My God, like 20 years.
All right, so here are the last two remaining questions, Jay. What's Andre Rozier's remaining 2020 look like?
Oh, very busy. I'm already in the park getting these guys ready. We were told that there's going to be some boxing that starts in July, and the schedules, once it starts, it's not going to stop. So I'm making sure that the team is omni ready to perform. And I have a lot of guys, but they all going to get some of that work. And we're just going to keep climbing, and hopefully we'll crown 2 to 3 more world champions this year.
Wow.
Okay, we're looking forward to that. I'm really excited about that, and excited to know, what 2021 is going to look like when you have these guys in full speed and we're out of this COVID thing. Now, my last and final question: how would you like your legacy, Andre Rozier's legacy, to be known in the sport come later later on in the sport?
Well, basically, my legacy is going to read that I hated to lose. I worked hard to win. But in doing that, I never stopped caring about my guys. And I've always loved my fighters.
Well said, man. And I'm sure people are definitely going to remember you for that. Just spending this hour with you, man. I tell you, I could tell that you're a man of the heart. You really do care about your boxers and you care about the sport. And we appreciate you for that. Andre, thank you so much for being here with us on Smoker Talk Boxing. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you again for spending your precious time with us. And we hope to see, those things come to fruition, those champions moving forward in 2020 and 2021.
Oh, listen, I really appreciate it. I want to just say, like Dave said, we've known each other a long, long time. And let me tell you something. There's no truer guy on the planet. He was a lieutenant for the police department. And there have been a couple of times when I had to pick up the phone and say, hey, Big D, I got a situation here. And not one time did he ever say, look, I'm too busy, or he was always there and he's always there for most everybody. I've never heard anybody say he wasn't. So I'm glad you two guys are together. I hope that David still promotes his shows when things get back to where they were before, because we can't have it like we did before, but hopefully it will return to before. And you guys just the utmost in respect and success with this program. Keep striving to take it all the way to the top.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Trey. Thank you.
And then we also want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight to Smoker Talk, the podcast. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys on Tuesday when we come back with another episode of the Coach's Corner. Tune in at 8 o'clock as well here on Smoker Talk. See you guys and have a great night. Take care.